Imagine, somewhere in the infinite universe, there might be a pair of eyes looking at Earth, the way we look up at the night sky. They are not like us, they do not speak our language, but they are also asking themselves, who am I? Where do I come from? And after death, what awaits? Are there aliens? That is no longer a question of science alone. It is a question of the mind, of faith, of people who always yearn to understand themselves. In this video, we will not look for aliens with a telescope, but with the eyes of religion, with the millennial-old teachings of humanity. From Christianity, Islam, Hinduism, to Buddhism, what do they say about beings from the stars? And most importantly, what do they teach us about ourselves? One, what do traditional religions say about aliens? Since ancient times, humans have always looked up at the sky, wondering, are we alone? Is there someone out there? For thousands of years, religion has been the main belief system explaining the world, and so the question of life beyond Earth has also been raised within the scope of religious thinking. In Christianity, especially the Bible, there is no line that directly talks about aliens in the modern sense. However, that does not mean that it is rejected. According to the Bible, God created the heavens, the earth, and all living things in it. The word all things has an open meaning, not limited to life on earth. Some modern theologians believe that if God is an all-powerful creator, then he could have created beings from other planets, who may be intelligent, may not be human, and may not have ever communicated with us. However, some conservative traditionalists worry that if aliens exist, would God grant salvation to them? Or only to humans? This is an ongoing debate. In Islam, the view is somewhat more open. The Quran mentions jinn, which literally means invisible beings, neither human nor angel. They have free will, knowledge, and even live in their own societies. Many scholars speculate that beings like jinn may have been how the ancients described beings from another world, from another dimension. Furthermore, the Quran says that Allah is the creator of the heavens and the earth, and of things you do not know. This suggests that the human world is only a tiny part of the entire universe, which the Creator has arranged. In Hinduism, the universe is divided into many lokas, parallel worlds. There is the world of humans, Buloka, of the gods, Svargaloka, of the evil gods, and countless other realms. The beings that inhabit them can exist in either material or immaterial form. The Vedas, the oldest scriptures of Hinduism, describe gods traveling in flying chariots, with weapons and supernatural powers. From a modern perspective, many people believe that this is an ancient way of describing aliens in modern language. Overall, the major religions do not reject the idea of extraterrestrial life. They do not speak directly about it, but they do not close the door either. This opens up an interesting possibility. If life exists elsewhere in the universe, do they have beliefs, souls, morality? And are human religions tolerant enough to accept it? 2. How does Buddhism view aliens? Unlike theistic religions, Buddhism does not promote the concept of creation by a supreme being. Instead, Buddhism approaches the world with wisdom, cause and effect, and personal insight. When looking at the universe, Buddhism does not consider the earth to be the center or the only one, but rather a very small part of an infinite number of worlds. In the Avatamsaka Sutra, the Buddha taught that the universe does not have just one world, but is interwoven with dependent origination, countless worlds interwoven like a web. There are countless Buddha realms, countless sentient beings. There are beings living in the world like humans, and there are also beings in realms that cannot be seen with the naked eye, called devas, asuras, hungry ghosts, and hell beings. Thus, thousands of years ago, Buddhism recognized the diversity of life forms, not only on Earth. A noteworthy point is, In Buddhism, beings are not defined by physical form or DNA, but by the ability to suffer, experience happiness, and evolve spiritually. Aliens, if they exist, and if they have perception, can think and know suffering, are also beings. They are also in the cycle of birth and death, reincarnation and karma. And therefore, they also have the ability to become enlightened, can become bodhisattvas, or fall into suffering, depending on their actions and karma. In the Mahaprajnaparamita Sastra, there is a passage that mentions worlds as far away as hundreds of thousands of Buddha lands, which can also be understood as other planets with life. The Vimalakirti Sutra even recounts a scene of devas coming from another world to converse with the Buddha, implying that communication between civilizations is possible, but not through technology, but through wisdom. Buddhism is also not afraid of the idea of aliens, because everything from a speck of dust to the Milky Way is subject to the cycle of birth and death, impermanence. Living beings, wherever they are the same in nature, bound by ignorance and suffering. Therefore, Buddhism focuses not on where they come from, but are they awake or not? If one day humanity encounters aliens, Buddhists will not be afraid. They will look into the other person's eyes and ask, "Do you know who you are? Are you suffering? Do you want enlightenment?" Because it is the mind that is most important, not the form or biological origin. 3. Science and spirituality. What if aliens exist? Modern science is closer than ever to the possibility of finding life outside of Earth. With the James Webb Telescope, we have discovered thousands of planets similar to Earth in size and atmospheric composition. Some planets even have signs of water, oxygen, methane, the fundamental elements of life. These discoveries have not only shaken the scientific world, but also made humanity rethink its place in the universe. But if one day we really discover aliens, what will happen? Will they be like us? Will they be hostile or benevolent? Will they be moral or indifferent to life? This is not only a scientific question, but also a spiritual question. Suppose aliens appear, and they have a civilization that is millions of years more advanced than humans. They can travel through space, there is no more disease, no war. But if they do not have compassion, do not understand love, do not live mindfully, then they are just a type of technically developed but spiritually poor beings. But if they live in harmony, do not compete, do not kill, then aren't they living as enlightened beings, like bodhisattvas in the universe? The question about aliens is essentially a mirror of humans. Among billions of worlds out there, who knows, we may not be the first civilization, nor the last. But what makes humans special is not technology, but the ability to be mindful, to love, and to transcend the ego. That is what makes life meaningful. And if we meet them, the first question is not, "Which planet are you from?" but rather, "Do you suffer? Do you have compassion and love?" Summary: Are there aliens? That remains an open question. But one thing is certain: we do not understand ourselves completely. Whether they exist or not, what matters most is how we live on this planet, with each other, with ourselves, with all other species that coexist. Buddhism teaches that the universe is boundless, but suffering and enlightenment lie in the heart of every living being. Maybe somewhere in the universe, there is a distant civilization that has overcome anger, greed, and ego. They do not need spaceships because they fly with free souls. And who knows, they are waiting for us to mature in consciousness, so that we can meet each other, not with language, but with understanding, compassion, and the light of enlightenment. They could be aliens. But the real question is, are we living in harmony with our human selves? Tell me, what do you think? Can spirituality and science meet on a journey, not to find aliens, but to find ourselves? If you find this video useful, please share it with your loved ones, for a more understanding and loving planet. Don't forget to subscribe to the Awakning information channel, because there are many mysteries of humanity waiting for us to discover, not only in space, but right in our hearts.
The video ends here. Thank you for listening. If you find it interesting, please give me a like, share, and click the subscribe button to help me.